Hello everyone, my name is Shawn Kelsey and today I'm doing my persuasive essay about how fighting shouldn't be allowed in the NHL. Now, take a look at this picture for a couple seconds. Notice two very key things that I'm going to talk about in today's video. Right here. What is this an indication of? This is an indication that this guy is going to get hurt, that a concussion is waiting to happen. Now, there was a rule that the NHL made, and it was called Rule 48. Now, Rule 48 eliminated headshots via checking. Okay, big deal. That's only checking. Now, what about fighting? Oh, that's not defined. In fighting, punches are landed more to the head than any body part on the human body. To me, that is sad. To me, that is a scary fact. To me, being a hockey fan, that enrages me. That says that the NHL just doesn't care about their players. And you know what? That is not right. The NHL needs to make up their mind. If you are going to be for fighting in the NHL, then congratulations. You don't understand the facts. The facts state this, that concussions happen more often in hockey than any other common injury. That is sad. Concussions should be eliminated from the NHL, but because they allow fighting, it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen, and players like this are going to end up getting hurt. This right here should not happen. It should not happen. It should not happen, but it does. Now, the second point I'm going to bring up, which hits a little closer to home. I am an older brother, and when I look at what the new generation has coming up for them, they have more violent video games, they have violent TV shows, they have violent movies. Now, why add any more violence to into their life? Kids these days have access to social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. It has something on there that has to do with violence. You can look up anything on YouTube. If you look up hockey fights right now, I bet you will get 11,000 style of videos that show fighting. That is sad. I didn't know that was such a big deal on social media. But I was also, I look on Facebook every day to see what kind of videos people post. And then there was one I watched. It was the one where it was Perros versus Orr. Now, who are Perros and Orr? Well, let me give you a little brief description of who they are. They are enforcers. Enforcers are supposed to amp up the crowd. They're supposed to get their team going, and the building goes absolutely nuts. Now, that to me, what does that do for hockey fans? Well, it gives you reason to be excited. But you know what else causes excitement? Goals or great goaltending. You don't need that extra effort from the team to make it more exciting when hockey is exciting enough. Have you ever watched playoff hockey? Playoff hockey is great. They don't even allow fighting in playoff hockey. When it happens, usually they're out for the rest of the season, either due to injury or due to the fact that they fought during the playoffs. Now, the NHL has tried to come up with this system where they eliminate injuries. Now, they started looking at, okay, what causes more concussions? Now, yes, body checking causes most of the concussions in hockey. However, fighting is also a big part of that. Why? Well, here's a statistical formula for you. Mike Milbury, a former hockey player, was talking about fighting in the NHL. He used to be for fighting, like I was for fighting, until I realized this. 95% of all punches landed in a hockey fight are to the head. That right there shocked me. That right there made me realize that you have to look at it from the player's perspective. Okay, you are a hockey player. What do you typically have to dodge? Well, you have to dodge big guys who are coming in to wreck you. You have to dodge flying pucks. You have to dodge things that people throw out onto the ice. And you have to dodge fights. Why should you have to do that? In my opinion, you shouldn't have to do that. If there are already other elements that are going to hurt you, why add another one? Now, there was another person, his name is Steve Eisenman. And again, he is a former hockey player, and again, his view was for fighting until he read something online that made him cry, and this also made me cry reading this. There was a man named Dan Sanderson. Now, who is Dan Sanderson? He was a 21-year-old NHL hockey player. He was in an NHL game when him and another player dropped the glove. Now, everybody's thinking, oh, okay, so he got in a fight, so what happened? Well, he got his helmet knocked off his head, and he fell flat on his face, and he got into a coma. So, this is a good example of just something like that. I mean, this didn't end up as bad. He ended up getting a concussion because he doesn't have his helmet on. And that is a big key. Safety in the NHL should be number one. It shouldn't be number two. When they say number one is about fan reactions, whoop-de-doo. But when the fans don't know what it's like to be a hockey player and you're getting hurt because of this, that enrages you. One of the final points I want to bring up is the kids. Like I said earlier, the kids nowadays have absolutely everything in their arsenal. Everything that they can access, like Facebook, like Twitter, like YouTube. It brings up the next level of violence. Now, where should the NHL go with this? The NHL should ban fighting. Why? Because to me, as a fan, hockey is more about how many goals you could score. Not how many fights you're going to get. Not how many people you get beat up. Not even how many concussions you can cause. It should be about how many goals you could score or how many saves your goaltenders can make. That is why this makes me so angry. This topic right here makes me angry. It shouldn't be 50-50. Another great quote from Steve Eisenman was the fact that the NHL is a 50-50 organization. There's 50% for people who are for fighting, and there are people who are against fighting. Now, we can either allow fighting in the NHL and suffer the consequences, or we can get rid of it. Now, this is what I think hockey should be about. Right here. It should be about good sportsmanship, being a great role model, avoid unnecessary injuries, and lead by example. That is what hockey should be about. It should not be about how many times I could punch you in the face, because guess what? I don't know how many times I could punch you in the face, because I'd rather know how many goals I could score against you versus how many times I could punch you in the face. That right there is the reason why fighting should not be allowed in the NHL. You know, when they talk about players ending up like this, that right there, look at that picture. That's going to happen to you if you fight in the NHL. You're going to get seriously hurt. And the bottom line is this. Safety in the NHL should be number one. It should be number one. They should eliminate fighting altogether. If you eliminate fighting, you are going to allow the younger generations of hockey stars to play longer. What is the average age that someone retires at? 45. Now everybody's thinking, oh, that's not young. Well, it's certainly not old. Football players can retire at 50, for God's sake. You have a violent game that's already violent enough. So you add fighting, it's more violent. End the story. Eliminate fighting from the NHL. Eliminate all those unnecessary injuries. Thanks for watching my video. Please, any feedback you can give me. It doesn't matter. I got thick skin. You can tell me anything about this video because I want to know. Thanks for watching my video. And again, please comment.